I'm very happy to welcome in studio for the first time from Parkinson's Resource Center of Oregon. It's Melissa Greer, who is the executive director. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Thank
It's
you.
great to have you in.
Good to be here. Thank you so much.
All right. So you just told me that you've now been with the Parkinson's Resource Center now for 10 years. Congratulations. That's a long time in today's world to be with an organization for 10 plus years.
Yeah. I kind of started just, loving the organization, but then you fall in love with the people. So it's easy to be around for this long.
Yeah. I think most of us have either a friend or a family member. We've all been impacted by Parkinson's. My neighbor, Mike Gwinnett, who is a great man. I grew up around him and have known him for a long time. He's got Parkinson's, and so I've seen him struggle over the course of time as he continues to battle it and so forth. But why don't we start for this? Because I think the hardest part for people to get involved or donate and to get the resources you need, I think a lot of times people, they have a hard time understanding what certain diseases are, right? So why don't you give me a breakdown of what Parkinson's is exactly?
Yeah. So Parkinson's disease is a progressive and chronic neurological condition. And so it affects movement and so much more. But some of the hallmark symptoms that people see are the tremor, the rigidity, which is the stiffness in muscles, the bradykinesia, which is a slow movement, and then also the postural instability, which really is kind of makes that maintaining balance difficult. But Parkinson's is a complex disease, and I often say it's kind of like an iceberg. So you see a little bit of that tip of the iceberg sticking out of the water, and that's really kind of what people are seeing. They're seeing those slow movements or maybe that freezing, but there's so much more beneath the water. And that's really where it becomes a challenge for people with Parkinson's. Some of those non-motor symptoms are sleep issues, fatigue, pain, but stuff like depression and anxiety as well, and loss of senses. So loss of sense of smell, sense of taste. So again, it's a complex disease, and it just looks different between individuals. So we also call it a snowflake disease, and it doesn't look the same on anybody.
Yeah, that's what makes it tough. Now, the depression, is that something that the disease itself is causing, or is that a result of people learning to deal with the disease that are experiencing depression for the changes in their life?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. So when they get that first diagnosis, I think that depression can come because their future looks different now. But then the depression is definitely part of the disease as well as anxiety.
How are things coming along in the research department? Finding cures, finding different treatments to help people. What type of progress is being made?
We are non-medical, but I will do my best.
Okay.
We usually leave that up to the OHSU or the Michael J. Fox Foundation to deal with some of that research. But the disease, there's a lot of things coming out. I was just telling someone recently that when I first started, we used to use the language that exercise might slow down the progression of the disease. Now we use the language as exercise is the only thing that will slow the progression. So really, there is no cure at this time. It is just treatment management and lifestyle. The same medication has been used since the 60s. However, there's been great advancements such as deep brain stimulation and other advancements in the treatment of the disease. But again, exercise and lifestyle.
Yeah, exercise and lifestyle is critical. My best friend and also my workout partner, he owns and operates a strength training facility in downtown Portland. One of his clients, his name is Kelly. He is suffering from Parkinson's, but he approaches the exercise end of things, nutrition, exercise, and the way that he carries on day to day with his lifestyle with that type of an approach. And I was talking to him about it. And he said the activity, the exercise has been great for him. And then he also mentioned he's part of a Parkinson's support group where he meets with multiple other people who have Parkinson's, and they're there to offer ideas or support to help them walk through the process, because you have different individuals, some who have been dealing with it for years, some who are just have been diagnosed. And so he said it's nice to have that type of support where you can communicate with someone who understands what you're going through exactly.
Absolutely. And I love that. So that's actually how our organization got started, is over 4 decades now. It started with a group of people kind of coming together with that shared diagnosis to offer support, to offer the information and just share. So that's great to hear. I love that. We also have a peer-to-peer program, which has been a real, I think, great program as well, to have that connection, that one-on-one peer connection.
So that is how it started then, a group of people getting together, and then explain that process a little bit. How did it go from that to becoming what Parkinson's Resource Center is today?
Oh gosh. Well, that is 40 years of just growth. So now we have an office in Beaverton that we provide exercise, ping pong, education, and we do have over 60 support groups throughout Oregon and Southwest Washington. We also have an office in Bend and Eugene. So
That's awesome.
yeah, the disease is not slowing down, and neither are we
Hmm.
in providing those services.
Do they know? Are certain people more predisposed? Are there certain things that cause it? Like what have you learned in that department?
Oh gosh. There's a really amazing book that just came out recently within the last month, and it's called the Parkinson's Program, and it was written by Ray Dorsey, Dr. Ray Dorsey, and Dr. Michael Oken, and they really talk about that this is there's many factors that contribute. Mostly, there's the environmental factors, the environmental herbicides, pesticides, genetics, and just the fact that the population is aging. So the risk of Parkinson's disease increases as the population ages, and baby boomers, I think the last baby boomer turned 65 in year 2030.
Wow.
So we're seeing just an incredible rise in Parkinson's disease.
We're talking with Melissa Greer here on the Rip City Drive. She is with the Parkinson's Resource Center here in Oregon. And I think one of the big messages you wanted to communicate today, and I think this is important, is that you're not alone, right? There are people and there's a community where you provide support. So walk me through what the Parkinson's Resource Center will do. Like, let's say I get diagnosed and I come to communicate with you. Like, what are the steps that you work with people on to help them through that process, to help them understand they're not alone?
Yeah, so we have our helpline. And so I'd say the first, you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, and you might call us. We get people calling us the next day of their diagnosis or weeks later. And we're local and we're personal and we're direct. So you're going to talk to one of us, and we're really going to walk you through. I think our approach is quite different among us. My approach is that I try to customize it and customize it to the person. So the diagnosis alone is overwhelming, and the amount of support and education and services I provide can be overwhelming as well. So I like to take it a step at a time.
Yeah.
So I like to make sure that, do they have an exercise program? Are they seeing a physical therapist? What are the things that are important to them? Are they in an area of where there is a local support group, or is there a support group that they might want to try that's a virtual support group? So it's really just kind of, we take that as like a customized approach,
Yeah.
and get people involved in that way.
Are there any challenges with people and their health insurance in terms of what is provided, what's not, what's covered? Like, is there any issues like that?
Yes, but fortunately, we don't have to deal with any of that.
That's
So
great.
we say that we bridge the gap between wellness and medical care. So we're there. All of our services are free of charge.
Mhm.
And if you're local and you can come into one of our offices, I would say that that's the best way to kind of see the community. Particularly in Beaverton today, we even had a drumming and Dance for PD group. So if you came in today, you would have heard that drumming, and it's
Oh,
very
nice.
lively. And we're pretty lucky to have a space like that.
How much does it help the cause and the awareness when you have a big name like Michael J. Fox, who is really, I admire his willingness to be front and center and deal with the disease head on. How much does that help when you have a name that people can attach to it in terms of bringing awareness?
Uh, I think that what he has done has been quite amazing. There is so much awareness because of his name and the work that his foundation has done. And we have even worked with them in particular, went to Washington, D.C. We sent a pro employee to Washington, D.C. with the Michael J. Fox Foundation.
Good.
And kind of working and doing some talking to some senators and House representatives with Michael J. Fox. I'd say that it's helpful that people have seen someone like Michael J. Fox, but anybody that's being compared, we just kind of bring back that snowflake. It's different from everybody. And he was very young when he was diagnosed. He was 29. So.
All right. Can you tell me about your biggest fundraiser? I think you mentioned it. It's called Soul Support.
Soul Support. Yes. Soul Support.
SOLE.
Yes, not like the shoe, but like the shoe, not the, soul. Yes, Soul Support for Parkinson's benefits Parkinson's Resources of Oregon. It is our biggest fundraiser of the year, and we're goal is $400,000, and that's over 4 walks in 3 weeks. So this is a busy time for us. But it's not only a fundraiser, it's really time for individuals, families, and teams to come together and create that kind of powerful opportunity to raise awareness and support those living with Parkinson's disease.
All right. Can you tell me about the big walks you have coming up in October?
So we have one in October, that's Vancouver,
Yes.
and that's October 5th. But the first one kicks off, it's exciting. It's this weekend in Portland, September 20th. It's a Saturday. The walk starts, check-in is at 12, and the walk starts at 1:30, and it's at the Rose Quarter Commons. So we're kicking it off big. Portland is our biggest one. That goal is $225,000. So we start big, and then we also have 2 walks next weekend in Eugene and Bend as well.
Okay, if I want to participate in the walk, like what is the process for me to get registered? Can I just show up at the Rose Quarter? Do I go online? What's the best way to do that?
Yeah, so I'd say now, because we have a couple days left, we're still doing, donations are still coming in, people are still fundraising. So go to soulsupport.org, register, you can start a team, you can walk as an individual, you can also come day of, and we can get you checked in. It is a fundraiser, but it's really about just that fun.
Yeah. And then where's the location for the walk October 5th in Vancouver?
Ooh, I love that you asked that. That's Clark College in Vancouver on October 5th.
Both locations easy to find. Rose Quarter, we all know where that's at. Clark College, if you're coming from the Portland area, it's just straight over the I-5 and you take the Mill Plain exit. Boom, you're right there.
Right there. And it's easy, and it's a beautiful little walk.
What other type of help or support, how can people get involved aside from the walks?
Oh, so our support groups, majority of our support groups are peer-led. So that is, I'd say, where a lot of our volunteers come from, is we have an amazing group of volunteers that are support group facilitators, but also our board members, and people volunteer during our walk season as well. We, like I mentioned, we have an office, so we're always looking for helpers to come in and maybe stamp some envelopes. So if you're looking for any opportunity to get connected, I would say come visit us at our walks and we'll get you connected.
All right, the biggest fundraiser, Soul Support. They've got the big Portland walk coming up this Saturday. It's going to be right there at the Rose Quarter, and it kicks off at noon, you said?
Check-in is at noon. There'll be a band, there's face painters, so it's fun for everybody. Some freezy treats.
And the weather's going to be nice. I checked the extended forecast. Saturday's looking good.
It is, yeah. And it's a 1K or 5K, so it's really accessible for any age and any ability.
What's been the response from those suffering from Parkinson's with these events?
Oh, it's lovely, because sometimes they go to support groups and a caregiver might come with them. But this is an opportunity of where they can bring their kids, their nieces, their nephews, their grandkids. This is really, if you want to know about Pro, you come to the walk, Soul Support Walks.
All right, Melissa Greer, who is with Parkinson's Resource Center here in Oregon. Before I let you go, anything else you want to get out to the people?
I think the last little message I just want to leave people is that there is hope, and that you're not alone. While there's no cure for Parkinson's, I think with proper treatment, and as we talked about, a healthy lifestyle, people can still live a fulfilling life. And so our job is to help them see that there is a supportive community that are there to walk alongside them.
Well, Melissa, I appreciate you coming in. Melissa Greer, who is the executive director of the Parkinson's Resource Center here in Oregon. We got to continue to spread the message. So if you ever need to use the show to get a message out to anyone here in town, you're always welcome.
Oh, thank you.
There you
I'll
go.
be back.
All right, we'll keep things rolling. Rip City Drive. Big thanks to Melissa. Parkinson's 5K, so get involved. Parkinson's Resource Center of Oregon.